Alright guys, welcome to our post-fight breakdown video for UFC 314. Man, what a card this was. It was very eventful, super fun overall. We had a lot of finishes, some crazy ref stoppages, and more importantly, a new featherweight champion. Today we will go over each fight, give our breakdown on them, and reflect on our picks. But anyway, without further ado, let's get straight into the first one. Alright guys, for the first fight we had Nora Conroli going up against Haley Cowan. This didn't go the way that I thought it was going to go. I thought Nora Conroli was going to piece up Haley Cowan, but this went to the ground for some reason. Haley Cowan had some control time in there, but Nora Conroli eventually found her submission and choked Haley Cowan out. I mean, Nora looked pretty good. She did miss weight by like 2.5 pounds though, and we both got this prediction correct. You have anything to say, Van? I'm pretty sure you didn't watch this fight though.
Yeah, I didn't watch the fight. I was at work. I was just checking every couple seconds,
Mm-hmm.
and I saw Nora and Haley on the ground. And then next time I checked my phone, I saw Nora by submission. So I was like, oh hell yeah, got my prediction right.
Yes, sir.
Starting off 1-1 in the night.
But yeah, moving on. The next fight was a middleweight bout between Trishan Gore and Marco Tulio. Bro, this was such a crazy fun fight to watch. You didn't watch this one either, huh?
No,
Yeah,
I
dude.
just saw the highlights afterwards
Oh yeah.
of Marco teeing off on Trayshawn.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
Dude, Tulio is a beast, bro. He was getting off every shot that he wanted. He was mixing up his shots, spinning back fists, kicks, jabs, freaking everything, bro. It was super fun. But props to Trishan Gore, bro. He's a dog, and he's very freaking durable. I don't know how he didn't get knocked out cold from that first knockdown that Tulio got.
yeah, super durable, super tough. I mean, that's one of the things you had mentioned is that he's like crazy strong and all that.
Yeah,
So, man, Marco, he looks promising from what I saw. You know, he's a top fighter in that division, and maybe we see him against a top 15 fighter.
next.
Yeah,
Okay, I can see
getting a
that.
ranking fight.
Yeah. For the predictions, I got this completely wrong. I was trying to be that hardcore MMA fan saying that, oh, Trishan Gore this, Trishan Gore that, but that was a terrible pick. And you got this correct.
Yeah,
And this,
we both have a fight later on where we tried doing that hardcore.
yeah. All right, moving on. We had Sumadarji going up against Mitra Poso. Bro, this was hella boring fight. Sumadarji ended up winning by decision, by a split decision actually. And like I pointed out on the slide, there's nothing notable to say about this fight. I mean, we both got the prediction correct, but I didn't see nothing crazy from either of these guys. What do you think, Ivan?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we got our pick correct and all that. I know there was a lot of people upset about how the fight went, but when I was driving as I was watching it for legal reasons, or not, yeah, we live in Mexico, so it's like
Okay, bro. Okay.
yep, for legal reasons. But yeah, I wasn't exactly too happy with this fight, but at the same time, I couldn't be mad because we got our pick right. So
Yeah, that's true. But anyway, like I said, there's nothing notable to say about this fight, so we're just gonna move on to the last fight of the early prelims. We had Cedriquez Dumas going up against Mikhail Olechasik. This was
yes, sir.
a good fight until it wasn't. If you know, if that makes sense, because it
Yeah,
was starting to look like a good fight, but then there was a controversial slash early stoppage that some people are gonna agree and some people are gonna disagree. But Mikhail looked pretty good.
yeah. It
He
was
was
a big step down in competition.
definitely.
That's for sure.
And at the end of the day, I feel like Mikhail was gonna piece up Cedric anyway.
Yeah. Dumas, he looked really helpless on the ground. When he had to face adversary, he looked very helpless. It was a little sad to see. I know some people are gonna say early stoppage. I thought maybe it was a little early, but honestly, after like reviewing it, because I watched this fight,
Mm-hmm.
I think it was a good stoppage. I don't think Dumas was gonna come back and do anything crazy.
Yeah.
And starts off 1-0 for Mikal as a fighting nerd,
Yes,
training with
sir. Yes, sir.
Kyle and them after losing. So maybe, hey, more plot armor for these guys. Just
Yeah.
saying.
Also, Dumas got knocked out, or he got knocked down by a bicep, bro. Imagine if he would have got clipped
Log.
with a clean right hand or a freaking swinging left,
A looping left, yeah.
A looping left. Yeah, my bad. But yeah, a new fighting nerd. Some interesting stuff. We both got this pick correct. And moving
Hell
on
yeah.
to the first fight of the prelims, we had Darren Elkins versus Julian Erosa. This is the fight that
Oh
Ivan was
man,
talking about.
we're being hardcore, man. Darren Elkins can pull it off.
Oh
No,
yeah, no, that
Darren
was
Elkins, poor Elkins. We could not have been any more wrong.
yeah,
Um, Darren Elkins, he's old man. You know, he's taken like his nickname says, he's the damage, but he's also he taketh and he giveth,
yeah.
and he's man, he's taking a lot for sure. It's a
Yeah,
little sad to
dude.
see.
I feel like everything went downhill from when Julian Erosa landed those up kicks. Those two nasty up kicks, bro.
Those were beautiful. I will
Yeah,
say
they
that much.
were. They were. And the Rosa
I
looked
can't think
great.
of any other good up kicks. Oh no, there was a couple years back, Yuri Prohashka and Dominic Reyes.
Mm-hmm.
Dominic Reyes threw an up kick, and Yuri said he got knocked out, but
Damn.
he fell on top of him, so he was just kind of resting on him. I remember that. And then Irene Aldana, I think it was, who
Uh-huh.
ended up kicking someone in the liver.
Oh, dang.
Yeah, so that was cool.
Yeah, that is
But
that's
these up kicks were really a sight to see.
yeah, and everything just went downhill for after that. Elkins looked, oh my dude, it was so sad to watch.
Yeah, he was just there taking the damage.
Yeah, like his nickname.
Name implies.
Yep. Even though
Oh man.
whatever, but we both got this pick incorrect. It was terrible.
Hardcore
Julian,
pick.
yeah, hardcore pick. Julian Erosa did good. It's his third finish in a row, and he's kind of putting up a good run here. I don't know how far he's gonna get, but probably a top 15 fighter next as well for this guy.
All right.
Sweet. And for the next fight, we had Jim Miller and Chase Hooper. Damn.
Choop.
Choop.
All right, listen. Choop is a D1 gooner.
Bro, I
This morning,
freaking saw that,
I this
dude.
morning, this morning, dude, this morning when I woke up and I went on my phone and stuff. I in the moment I didn't realize what he said until I went on my phone and I saw a lot
Dude,
of people
no,
pointing it
no
out.
one did,
And
bro.
even in his post fight press conference, dude, that was crazy.
Yeah, he doubled
He
down on
started
it.
talking about
Yeah,
it.
he doubled
Yeah.
down.
Man, Chase Hooper, he looks really good. I know a lot of people are upset he didn't get the finish, but Jim Miller, man, he is durable. He
Yeah.
is, he's scary. No
Hmm.
matter what position he's in, he's always in for a submission.
Yeah, dude, it's just that
Right?
savvy vet that he is, bro.
Crafty vet.
Crafty vet. Chase Hooper was chasing that finish over and over again, but like you said, Jim Miller is just so good on the ground.
Yeah.
On the ground.
No, even still, he's a great fighter.
Hooper still looks good after this fight. It wasn't the masterclass that you and I thought was gonna happen, but it was still a pretty fun fight to watch. It was a good wrestling fight to watch.
Yeah,
There,
really good grappling.
yeah. And we both got this pick correct. I think we had said that maybe by submission in our previous video. I'm not too sure, but
I think I said by submission.
yeah. But we got this pick correct, and yeah, pretty fun fight. Like I said. Anything else, Ivan?
Hooper looks promising.
Yeah, he does.
Looks promising.
Choop the goon.
I'm not too sure how far he goes though. I know Jim Miller is a really good place to see where you're at.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not sure who Hooper would face next. I'm not sure
Yeah.
if he has a favorable matchup in the 155 division, like the top 15.
Yeah.
So I'm not entirely too sure.
He did call out, or he didn't call out anyone in specific, but he did want someone younger.
Maybe Emmanuel Torres.
Yeah, I could. Yeah, I can totally
Maybe
see
not
that
younger
actually.
than him, but younger in age because man, let me
Yeah.
tell you, Hooper's like what, 28? He's young. So that's really not too fair.
Yeah, that's true.
He's gonna be fighting newborns if they try to go younger.
Yeah. All right, cool. Moving on. We had Yan Xiaonan versus Verna Jandaroba.
This is the fight you were talking about that I was slandering. Shout out the homie Tyler.
Yep, definitely.
You know?
Shout out to the homie Tyler, bro. I'm not gonna say what he pointed out, but he pointed out something funny from our previous video. But like you said, Ivan, giving the context, we pretty much all know what it is. But
Yep,
shout out to the homie Tyler.
Shout out homie Tyler.
This was a decent fight overall. It wasn't the most fun to watch, but it wasn't the most boring either because Verna Jandaroba was trying to get a bunch of submissions. Well, by a bunch, I mean an armbar, and she tried to get that a few times.
Like 3 times.
Yeah. And I feel like
They were really deep, man.
yeah, they were. If she would have gotten like an extra 15, 20 seconds after that third round, I think she would have definitely got the armbar at the end of that fight.
I mean, I know I said a lot of things about women's MMA, but Verna Jandaroba, she looks really good. Always chasing submissions. At least she was trying to fight a finish.
Yeah.
Wanting Yang Jianan to win, that was frustrating because
Oh,
man,
jeez.
she was getting smothered. All right, the hands in the face and everything. That's gotta be so in your own blood and everything. I was like, man, that's
Yeah,
gotta
dude.
suck.
Remember we were talking about this,
She looked
dude.
really frustrated.
Yeah, we were talking
Yeah.
about this. If that was frustrating for us to watch, imagine for her being right there being punished, bro. Damn. The longest
Yeah, dude, it
probably
was crazy.
15 minutes of her life.
Yeah, dude, it's gotta suck.
Yeah, and
We move on there's a fight later that a similar thing happened, but it was 10 times worse.
Yeah, like we were talking about this last night. This is definitely a title fight now for Jandaroba, but like you mentioned,
She's
dude,
not gonna win.
no, there's no way. What would you
Zhang
say?
Weili's just too good, man.
The step
It's
up in competition? You said?
the step up in competition. It's
Yeah.
like you have the top 1 through 5, and then you
Mm-hmm.
have Zhang Weili. Like she's in a whole different. We saw what she did to Tatiana Suarez. She was like
Dude, yeah,
Suarez was supposed to be her most like dangerous opponent up until that time, and dude, she just looks way too good.
yeah. Even
So I
if
don't think anyone touches Zhang Weili.
I don't think so either, and arguably she's the best strawweight ever. I think
The greatest.
the greatest. Yeah, the greatest. She's
No,
the
she's
strawweight
locked
goat.
in.
Mm-hmm.
She's really likable. Great personality. And I don't know how anyone dislikes Zhang Weili. She's one of I'd say my top 3 favorite fighters, like women's fighters of all time.
Yeah.
Really exciting. Always like, I mean, we saw what she did to Yang Jianen, where she like submitted her, knocked her out, submitted. She like did that
Oh yeah, that's
like
crazy,
30
huh?
different. Yeah, that was what UFC 300. Yeah. So no one touches Zhang Weili. Good win by Jandiroba, but if they make that fight, I am probably betting 1,000 on Weili to win
She's
by
probably
Kung
gonna be
Fu.
a massive. Yeah, she's probably gonna be a massive favorite anyway. But
Yeah.
I feel like it's gonna be a fun fight to watch, nonetheless. Though.
Oh yeah, because Jandiroba,
Mm-hmm.
we stated earlier, she was always attacking, always chasing submissions.
Yeah.
Maybe Wei Li falls into her guard, and we see Jandiroba try to uh lock up an armbar, and she gets it.
Yeah.
We'll have to
Maybe.
see.
Who knows? But yeah, we both got this. Well, actually, you know what am I talking about? I got this pick
You got it
correct.
correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, Janan. Damn.
Sweet. Moving on to the last fight of the prelims, we had Dan Ige versus Sean Woodson, dude. And oh my goodness, this did not go the way that we thought it was gonna go. And another controversial stoppage, dude. Like, oh my goodness.
Yeah, man, it was a little sad. I mean, I wanted Ige to win, and I kept saying the whole entire week, Ige was due for one, like he was
Uh huh.
due for a knockout. We see
Yeah.
him like lose 2 fights and then boom, knockout. But man, this was a little sad to see considering, Sean Woodson has been preparing for this, and then out of nowhere, he's looking good in the fight, and
Dude, it looked like Sean Woodson was starting to get his rhythm going. Like he was starting to find his range a little bit. And I feel like he was about to start picking it up, but then he was able to hit him with the clean freaking punch, bro.
he clipped him, and then I guess I feel like all the punches that you get through landed on Woodson's guard though,
Yeah.
so
And
he wasn't
the
out.
ref stopped the fight as Sean Woodson was standing up, dude. Like I should have let a little bit longer, but it is what it is. Like Brian says, he was due for one. Shout out to
He was
the
due for one.
yeah, shout out to the homie Brian as
Big
well.
homie Ryan. And yeah, man.
And we both got this pick completely wrong as well.
Yeah. I mean, for Woodson, this isn't a bad loss. He lost to well, I don't want to say Danny. Well, Ige is a vet now. Um, so he lost to Dan Ige, grizzled fighter. He's got a lot of experience under his belt.
Yeah.
And then Woodson, he'll come back.
I think he will. Him and his weird ass, lanky, big head ass build will come back.
Yeah, he's really awkward.
Yeah. And I'm not trying to make fun of him. It's just that.
So like uncomfortable to watch
Yeah.
sometimes.
But he's good. He's good.
He's a great fighter.
But all
But
right.
yeah,
Cool. Moving on. We got Nikita Krylov versus Dominic Reyes to open up the main card. And man, what a fight this was. It
oh,
wasn't long, but
oh man,
oh, here we go.
Dominic Reyes, my beautiful Dominic Reyes. Listen, man, this was a long time coming. All right, Reyes 3-0, all by finish. Okay, I will say to the credit of Nikita Krylov, he did make a big mistake by trying to bum rush. As soon as Dominic Reyes slipped and then sat down on a punch, that was all she wrote.
Yep. Oh, that was so beautiful,
Beautiful.
bro. That was so beautiful. I thought Krylov was gonna win, and I thought he was gonna win because this guy, dude, he's underrated. And
Maybe some ring rust, you say?
yeah, I did call that. I said it's maybe some of that ring rust, and I'm pretty sure that's what was part of it. But Dominic Reyes looked super good anyway. I feel like Dominic Reyes, even if he wouldn't have got that punch in, I feel like he still would have won and would have found
He looked
another.
massive.
Yeah, he did. Oh, your brother mentioned that, and he
Yeah,
did.
looked a lot bigger, a lot fuller.
Yeah,
Dominic Reyes, every single fight looks better.
and
The only thing that I question is we'll see how his chin is.
true. And who would have thought freaking career resurgence with 3 wins in a row in 2025 by Dominic Reyes.
All by knockout. Or yeah, all by finish.
Yeah, they've all been finishes, right? The last one
Yep.
was over Anthony Smith. I don't remember who he fought before that.
Dustin Jacoby.
Oh, okay. Sick. But yeah,
And Jacoby just knocked out Peditrino, which was
oh
so
nice.
nice to see.
Yeah. But yeah, I got this pick incorrect. Ivan, you got this pick correct. And
Thank you,
yeah.
Dominic Reyes.
All right, moving on. We had Bryce Mitchell versus Gene Silva.
Brass Mitchell brother.
Gene Silva got an unexpected submission win over Bryce Mitchell. At first, we all thought Gene Silva was going to knock him out, but then Bryce Mitchell had a really good build-up week with some confident statements and some good off-the-octagon interviews, and he was kind of turning the tide, and bro became so likable in the span of a few weeks.
Yeah, Silva. I think it wasn't exactly that Bryce became more likable because I always liked Bryce, but I think it's the fact that Silva was making himself unlikable.
I guess that's true.
I mean, Bryce did have a lot of witty comments,
Yeah.
where he's like, "You're barking up the wrong tree," and he's like, "I put down a lot of dogs in my day," I was rooting for Bryce even though I wanted Silva to win as well at the same time. But what I will say is I don't think neither of us predicted a submission.
No, definitely not. But
Oh,
Silva, regardless, Silva is him. This guy is.
No, man,
He's so
this
good.
guy's good. Because that performance he went out there to put on, I don't want to be that guy to like play MMA math and all that, but I think he beat Bryce Mitchell 10 times better than Taporia did.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, I mean,
Dude, yes. What the heck?
yeah, man.
And Silva was doing whatever he wanted out there, bro. I don't know if you noticed, but
He kept taunting him.
yeah, he kept taunting him, and Bryce Mitchell had more total strikes than Gene Silva, but that's because Gene Silva was picking his shots, and like I said, he was getting whatever he wanted, and he stuffed 9 takedowns or 8 takedowns. I don't remember, but he stuffed most of Bryce Mitchell's takedowns that he attempted.
Yeah, Silva, he had really good takedown defense. He looks really promising. Very scary for everyone else to see, because we haven't seen this guy tested on the ground.
Yeah,
We
that's
haven't seen him.
true. That's true.
So now he looks really good, and we'll have to see who he fights next. I know. He didn't call out? Did he call out Lopez, or I forgot who he called? What he said after?
I don't
his
dude, I
post-fight
don't
interview.
remember who he called out.
I'm not too
I
sure.
think I stood up
where
to
we
get
go
some
from
pizza
here.
when after that. But yeah, we both got this pick correct. I know I was starting to lean on maybe Gene Silva can't win, and I kind of regret it. But at the end of the day, we got the pick correct, so that's it. And
At the end of the day, we got it correct.
yep, moving on, we had Yair Rodriguez going up against Patricio Pitbull. Dude, Yair looked great in this fight. I don't know if
Sharp.
he looked sharp. I don't know if it's because Pitbull is starting to get there in age, but he looked super sharp, like you said.
It was good to see. I know during the week I kept dogging on Yair because of his actions and everything. I still don't believe he should get a title shot just off of this win alone.
Yeah,
I mean, he lost to 2 people.
yeah, he lost. Yeah, and it was to Volk and Brian Ortega.
Ortega.
Right?
Yep. So I don't know if he should get a title shot. Oh.
Yeah, this guy was coming off of like a 1-year layoff, bro, and he looked pretty good.
No ring rust for him whatsoever.
Yeah, he controlled that range really well, picking his shots. Again, unpredictable like always. And he just showed Patricio Pitbull that there's levels.
There's a UFC and there's a Bellator.
Yeah.
And man, look great.
All right, Ivan, any final thoughts for this fight? Yeah.
So yeah, for my final thought, I think Rodriguez and Lopez is next. For a title eliminator while Movzar and Volkanovski fight.
Yeah, totally fair. I can totally see that. But yeah, we both got this pick correct.
Yes, sir.
But yeah, moving on, we had Michael Chandler versus Paddy Pimblett. Man, what a fight, bro. A Paddy the Baddy masterclass. That was so fun to watch. He did hella good. He destroyed Michael Chandler. That freaking knee to the cheek was crazy. Cut him open right away. Started hella bleeding. And this was the fight that Ivan was talking about. That, yeah, Darren Elkins was miserable, but Michael Chandler in this fight was a whole nother level, bro.
He was cut up, looked like tomato soup, man.
Yeah, poor guy. Dude, he was even looking up. I don't know if it was the ref or Paddy Pimblett, but he was telling him something, bro. I feel so bad for the guy.
He looked like he was helpless, asking the ref for help, man.
Yeah,
That was really
honestly, yeah. But man, what are the haters gonna say now about Paddy Pimblett? For real though. Yes, I understand Michael Chandler has 2 wins in the UFC. He's not that good, but Paddy did it in such a way that he looked super good.
Dominant.
Yeah, super dominant.
Like we said earlier, I don't want to be that guy, MMA math, but because I love Charles, but he beat Chandler 10 times better than Oliveira beat him.
Yeah.
So Maybe we see I want to see him fight Gaethje. I don't know about you, but I want to see that fight.
That would be a fun fight.
Pimble for Pimblet.
I'd rather see Paddy Pimblett against Justin Gaethje than Justin Gaethje against Islam.
Yeah, it makes sense, especially because hey, or maybe like we had mentioned as well, he fights that sausage, that chorizo. Fights Ilya Toptorio,
Topu torta, or what do they call him?
Toptorio.
Tuptoyo? Yeah. Dude, is this adios for Chandler, bro, or no?
I think he's gonna be welcoming people into the top 10 now.
Okay, makes sense. Like what do they call that? Not a gate, like a gatekeeper?
Yeah, gatekeeper,
Okay,
a
yeah.
journeyman.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, man, wasn't really, not gonna lie, wasn't too high on Pimblet until his fight last night.
Yeah.
He looked really great, and I'm excited to see what he does next. You
Yeah,
know,
dude. And also, I didn't get the prediction of the point deduction correct. Literally,
yeah,
Michael Chandler didn't have a chance to do anything besides
nah,
that.
that's why Pimblet.
Dude, besides that crazy kick to the groin, bro, that was nasty. What
That
the
was a
heck?
nasty one. That was really dirty.
That was so dirty.
But yeah, man, it was good to see. Pimblet put on a amazing performance.
Yeah.
He bullied him in the striking, the grappling. There was only one moment for Chandler's success where he threw that overhand, but Pimblet ate that and said, "Keep coming." And
Yeah.
that was the only chance that Michael had to equalize the fight.
What does Patty say? Scousers don't get knocked out?
Scott says, "Don't get knocked out." That's what he
Yeah.
said. He probably told him that as he was talking to him, and Michael Chandler was like, "Yeah, probably they don't."
Yeah. I liked how he called out well, he didn't call out Armin, but he called him a helmet.
He called him a helmet. I
Yeah,
don't think he should fight Armin though, because that would
no,
be
I don't think so
a
either.
very boring fight.
Yeah. But yeah, I got this pick correct. Ivan, you wanted Chandler, or you said Chandler was gonna win.
By him using his brain.
Yeah.
But even him using his brain, Pimblet just shut it down completely. He had one crisp takedown. After that, there was really no success.
Yeah. A total Patty masterclass. But yeah, moving on to the main event of the evening. Alexander Volkanovski versus Diego Lopez. This was a fun fight, bro, to be honest. That fifth
Really
round,
good to see.
yes, that fifth round, like the last 2 minutes was kind of a little bit frustrating to watch for like a newer MMA fan like me, but the whole fight overall was pretty fun.
It was a good fight. Volk, he looked sharp. I was doing a lot of glazing during the fight. He for every punch that Lopez or that he Volk landed like 5-1.
Yeah,
Right.
he did. He
But
did.
the craziest, me, I think this put 10 years of my life on the line. I have gray hairs now. This fight I had was Volkanovski would land like 5 and Lopez would land. You know, it only took that
Yeah.
one to hurt him because
Late in that
like
second
the
round,
exchanges
huh?
they had. Late in that second round is when I was about to start screaming. Volk, you know, he looked good,
Yeah. Yeah,
but Lopez is terrifying.
he was showing some of that vintage Volk from the past, which some of those exchanges looked he
That
was gonna
first round was beautiful from
yeah,
Volk.
definitely. Dude, I don't know what Diego's plan was for this fight. I thought
He
he
needed
was
to go after it.
yeah, I think he needed to be way more aggressive. We talked about this last night to Ivan. If Diego Lopez would have been 10%,
10% more aggressive.
yeah,
Yep.
you said that, and that's totally correct. I agree with that, but I don't know, man. Diego Lopez looked great. He looked good, and he has a hell of a chin, bro. He's hella durable. He was eating a bunch of Volkanovski's freaking punches, bro. I don't know how he was doing that, but Volk had that nasty jab all night, bro.
Just jabs and leg kicks. It was
Yeah.
vintage Bulk performance. I know people are upset that he was backpedaling, but listen, if he would have gone out there and we saw in those exchanges, I was getting really scared where he would go out there and like
Uh huh.
exchange with Lopez.
Mhm.
On a lot of those, Lopez was hurting him, and if Lopez landed one, I think Volkanovski did somewhat leave his game plan in those moments. He fought with a lot of ego, throwing caution to the wind. I think Lopez should have done that more. Maybe that would have won in the fight.
Yeah.
But I was wanting Volk to win and all that. I don't think he should have proceeded with that.
Yeah, and like you said, it might be a little frustrating seeing Volk backpedal towards the end. And for me, I'm gonna be honest, it was a little frustrating, but and Volk was definitely up. I want to say 4-1, bro.
Yeah, I
Eh,
was
he
during the
was
night. I was saying 4-1, 3-2,
yeah,
maybe.
he was definitely up, and it was the smartest thing to do, especially at Volk's age and coming off of two losses where he got knocked out in both, and having Diego Lopez being so freaking dangerous. If he would have been like little bit reckless in that fifth round and not protect himself, I feel like Diego Lopez could have. Well, actually, that could be for the whole fight. If Volkanovski would have been a little reckless throughout, or a little bit more reckless, and Diego Lopez being a little bit more aggressive, he would have clipped him and knocked him out, bro. But very smart by Volk. Good win for him, definitely. And not gonna lie, opened up some fun matchups now. Like you said earlier, Volk versus
Evloev,
yep, and then Diego Lopez versus Jair Rodriguez.
that's gonna be a great fight.
Yeah, UFC 320 in Guadalajara. Just watch.
Guadalajara.
But yeah, Ivan, any final thoughts about
Um,
the championship fight?
about the championship fight, yeah, Volk, he fought his fight, went out there. I'm glad he got the win. I was really happy in the moment. Um, I slept really good, you know. I slept really good knowing Volk is champ again.
Yeah.
But to be honest, I think he fights Evloev and then calls it a career because everyone else is going to be able to test his chin. And
So
I know
what
he
you,
was able to take Lopez's best shots, but I think it's one title defense and then we call it a career. End
so
off as the greatest featherweight of all time.
yeah, honestly, yeah, I can see that. So you're saying that Volkanovski can beat Evloev?
Yes, I think Volkanovski matches up a lot better with Evloev than Lopez does with Evloev. But
Mm-hmm.
Lopez matches up a lot better against Volkanovski than pretty much, vice versa.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, I don't really got anything else. We pretty much talked about all we wanted to talk, I think. For the predictions, I got this incorrect, and Ivan, you got this correct. Pretty sure that
What was
puts
our
you
tally?
at. You got 9 for 4, and I was 8 for 5 for the picks.
So the
This
main
was
event is what edges it out.
Yep, this was the one that was gonna decide the winner between you and I, and you came out on top. Congrats.
By my glorious king winning the fight for me. Thank you, Volkanovski. All right, and I think it was a great card all around.
I think
I
so
give it a
too.
solid 8 out of 10.
Oh, dude, you know what? I'm gonna say 9 out of 10 because
There was only one stinky fight,
there was only one
and
stinky fight.
then the two controversial stoppages, which is really expected in modern day UFC.
But I give this a 9 out of 10, and this compared to the other cards that we've had this year, definitely a 9 out of 10.
For the paper, especially for what was it last week's?
Dude, last week's fight night was so
Yeah,
bad.
we went from Sean Brady and Leon Edwards to fucking Lerone Murphy and then Josh Emmett. But we're back to this. This is goated. Next card,
Next card is gonna be fun too, I think.
Gary Prates. Oh man,
Yeah, stay tuned in for that fight fight breakdown. I'm not sure if Ivan's gonna join me for that one, but I will for sure do one.
yes,
We're also planning on making a tier list of the events so far, so stay tuned in for that as well. And I'm pretty sure Shrimp is gonna be there with me as well.
yes, sir.
Sweet guys, thank you so much for tuning in, giving us your time to watch our video. Stay tuned in for more UFC content and some new videos that we'll be putting up in the near future. But until next time, adios!